I used to love him like a child. I do it regardless. Sometimes it includes taking for granted that the person cares reciprocating, like when we were children and we took for granted that others once wanted to play with us, when instead they push us away. It's always a bad emotion to be rejected. We learn that we shouldn't have been so naive or stupid, taking for granted that the other person could appreciate us. Maybe we should be more detached and wait for that something happens, but chemistry only manifests for some people. Sometimes we'd like calling them the chosen ones, the lucky ones who didn't make any effort to find a person with whom everything is pleasant and easy. Why are we stuck in this spiral sometimes? The chemistry between two people is uncontrollable. She decides independently when we aren't overwhelmed by sudden and illusory crushes. One tries to be perfect, to appear the right ideal in the eyes of the other, but it all depends on how the person sees us and what kind of period is in. Always remember that other people have another idea of perfection. I mean, if you like to yourself how going out in the morning, they may have other aesthetic tastes. Even the ways of doing are important, and sometimes decisive. Aim to a specific person, it's a meticulous and interesting job, but avoid complicated people. We don't have to convince anyone. Love is simple. There is much variety in the world. So how can we guess the combination of the best actors that we should have to surprise our special person? Let's go into these 4 points: chemistry, trusting to have left a sign, aesthetic impact, and how to deal with this sense of exclusion that overwhelms us. Chemistry involves a biological reaction that it triggers the production of neurotransmitters as dopamine and oxytocin, for which we would experience sensations of pleasure and euphoria. These processes are autonomous and out of our conscious control. Many elements as body, voice, body language, and even the smell, they attract or reject us almost in an instinctive way. Seriously, even before our rational mind has time to intervene. Attraction is terrible because sometimes it even makes us hate that person for the same things we love them for. Not being able to have a person makes us feel empty. Trusting to have left a sign, an emotional impact, because when a connection is established during a conversation, emotions take over, making difficult to rationalize our feelings. We know well that at the beginning, the first few months together, you start to see other factors as compatibility, shared values, and mutual effort, but it's complicated in some stories. I think it deserves to be said. Do you remember what some people used to say? They told us to change the person and look beyond, but sometimes we can't. Time helps as much as moves away. Sometimes complicity lies. You make sacrifices and then they are completely diminished. The aesthetic impact. When you try to impress someone, it becomes everything to you. I read in some groups of girls that once tried to look like to the current girl of their most precious crystal, the boy of their dreams, to try to distract him or convince him to choose them, but it's crazy, extremely crazy, and above all, it denigrates us. It destroys who we are, our different and unique beauty. If you are a boy instead, I wanted to tell you to don't suffer too much this imbalance or inferiority that maybe you feel compared to other boys, 'cause girls only seek safety in a man, someone who makes us feel safe. We are more simple than you imagine. Maybe now it doesn't seem, but in deep, yes. It's important that you care about your look, giving value to it in the right way and not toxic. How to deal with the sense of exclusion that overwhelms us when we see that we aren't the chosen ones. Maybe you know that it's worse than when at school they choose us to form teams to play in. As adults, everything is different, but inside, in a second, you feel as an abandoned child. Why does it happen? It's a manifestation of a rejection's wound, and that brings us back navigating to our usual insecurities. Yet we feel up to it, beautiful, predisposed, available, careful, euphoric at the idea, and then nothing happens. This displeasure of the sense of exclusion, saying that the chosen one is someone else. It generates a continuous need for external approval to seek the determining confirmations of our value and our being worthy of love. What can I say? It has happened to me many times, and talking about it helps us to get free ourselves step by step. I tell you so you don't feel alone, holding your hand, but it's a deep sea where you feel at the mercy of pain. I wanted to take you into the infinite spiral where I started because I found another answer for love, and it is not trivial. Then, reading many books, the answer was always me, not enough for that person, yet I have great value. It should be something else if who I love doesn't see my pure intentions. The answer is we should do less for that person because whoever loves us, the one or another, it will see the least we do immediately and it will appreciate it as it is the maximum. Sometimes you win an art by doing less at the beginning, then reciprocity takes over and it tends to be well balanced. So whoever loves us will immediately appreciate the least. I want to conclude with a sweet sentence by Dostoevsky that I hope it will make you smile. Captain, sometimes we meet strangers, people to us, for whom we feel interest from the first look, smile, or greeting, and suddenly life lights up in an unexpected way before a single word is told. Guys, how is true?